Yesterday, the Senate Judiciary Committee held its third and final hearing on a proposed assault weapons ban. Led by Senator Dianne Feinstein, the hearing was filled with emotion, including this powerful testimony from Neil Heslin, whose son Jesse McCord Lewis was killed in the mass shooting in Newtown. Take a listen.
I'm here to speak up for my son. There's many changes that have to happen to make a change effective. Mental health issues, better background checks, bans on these weapons, bans on the high-capacity magazines. They all have to come together and they all have to work effectively.
Despite these incredibly emotional moments and increasing public support for gun control, Senator Feinstein's bill seems very unlikely to pass. So what's next? You gave a testimony yesterday on Capitol Hill, and you said that gun violence disproportionately affects urban areas. Can you talk to us about the challenges that you have faced in the city of Philadelphia?
Sure, and quite honestly, whether it's Philadelphia or any of our other small, medium, or large cities, urban areas, gun violence in particular, has a disproportionately devastating impact. In Philadelphia, 85% of the murders in our city are committed with guns, mostly handguns with high-capacity magazines or clips. Last year, in 2012, we had a 30% increase in individuals being shot multiple times, 11% increase in headshots. And so even though we had fewer shootings, a 12-year low in Philadelphia, actually we had slightly more people actually killed because when you get hit with 8, 10, 12 bullets, you bleed that much more. We have terrific trauma surgeons in Philadelphia, but what we're seeing is multiple shell casings at the crime scenes because of the types of weapons that are being used on civilians and police in our city and many other cities across America.
Well, and Mayor, since we have you by phone, I want to take a look at part of your testimony from yesterday. Let's take a look.
Gun violence also has been personal for you, Senator Feinstein, and it has certainly been personal for me. The first police officer my city lost after I became mayor in 2008 was killed by an AK-47 or SK-47 type assault weapon when he responded to a bank robbery in a supermarket on a Saturday morning. I will never forget that day.
Mayor, you're also president of the United States Conference of Mayors that initiated a letter that was signed by over 200 mayors, a very powerful letter, I would argue. Would you say that the NRA is your biggest hurdle when it comes to getting anything done on gun control?
Well, as you mentioned, that letter was signed by the over 200 mayors 3 days after Newtown, Connecticut. The Conference of Mayors has had a 40-year history of advocating for gun safety, gun regulations to make America a safer country for 40 years. And so it really is elected officials voting their conscience. Mayors across America, whether Democrats or Republicans, independents, our primary job is to make sure that our citizens are safe. I think that's the same job of all elected officials, regardless of your body you serve in or executive branch at the state or federal level as well. Americans want to be safe. We want to be safe on an airplane. We want to be safe on our streets. And so we're calling on Congress, do the right thing. Stand up for all Americans. Let's have gun safety. I believe in the Second Amendment, but I have a First Amendment right not to be shot as well.
Well, and we know that Congress, it ultimately comes down to a vote in Congress, but is NRA the biggest problem?
Certainly they are an interest group with a lot of influence with some members, but not so influential with others. I think that there's more fear, apparently, for some members of Congress of the NRA than there is reality. The overwhelming majority of Americans, the overwhelming majority of gun owners, the overwhelming majority of NRA members believe in strong background checks, gun safety laws, support banning high-capacity magazines. Hunters and target shooters, they're not for this kind of weaponry on the streets of America. And so the NRA's influence with some members of Congress is disproportionate and ignores the will of the American people. America's watching. Our children are watching, and we're all going to be judged based on what we did at the time when we had the power to do something. And the time for action is now, and we need to make Congress vote.
I absolutely agree. The time is now, Mayor, but what are the chances you think that a ban on assault weapons will actually pass?
Well, we won't know until they vote. I was a legislator for 14 and a half years in Philadelphia City Council. You never know what a legislator is going to do until their name is called or they push a button, put their card in the machine or whatever, however you vote. And so there's a lot of speculation, a lot of punditry. We're never going to know until the Congress actually goes into session, members sit at their seat, and take a stand on behalf of America. It's time to vote.